There are some cases in which the investigators, police, and victims' family members have no idea that what happened to their loved ones. These cases are not explained properly, and we get different theories and unanswered questions which we are never able to solve completely. This case is of 19-year-old Natalie Bollinger, who was a happy teenager with dreams and aspirations. She lived with her cheerful and happy family. They were all happy with their lives. However, Natalie went missing just after Christmas on the 28th of December 2017. 2 weeks before her disappearance, she had written a lengthy post on Facebook, updating her friends on an issue she was dealing with. For the past 2 years, Natalie had been having problems with a stalker, Sean Schwartz, a man which was believed to be in his mid-30s or 40s. This man had become obsessed by Natalie's generosity. Schwartz was homeless, and Natalie had given him rides to where he'd needed to go and ended up befriending him when no one else would. Sean Schwartz had become obsessed with her and wanted to meet her again and again. When Natalie moved to Virginia, Schwartz followed her. He often slept behind her work building. He also bombarded her phone with texts, emails, and calls, even threatening her family. The issue had become so bad that Natalie had filed for a restraining order, which was been granted earlier in December. In the Facebook post, she told her friends to ignore Schwartz, saying that acknowledging him would only make the situation worse for her. The problem was that Schwartz was already part of the thread. Only Natalie didn't know that what was going to happen. He had created a fake profile in which he kept commenting on Facebook posts, defending himself, and telling Natalie and her friends to re-examine their intentions. It's not known how long he had been friends with her on the social media channel, and for how long exactly these fights were happening. On December 28, 2017, Natalie was reported missing by her family. Everyone was shocked and were trying to search her and also police in their efforts, locating her on last seen and other locations. As the day passed, a shocking discovery which shocked the investigators and her family. Her body was found the next day in a wooded area north of Denver. According to the investigation report, Natalie had been shot in the head, and a 9mm casing was found near her body. The autopsy also found a potentially lethal dose of heroin in Natalie's bloodstream. The cause of death was determined to be a gunshot wound to the head. Suspicion immediately pointed to Sean Schwartz, and everyone started to suspect him, and police also questioned him, and an investigation led.
How would I know? What happened to Natalie? What do you guys know? All I know is from Facebook Messenger, and I hate Facebook.
What did Facebook Messenger say?
It doesn't matter. You need to get a hold of the police and talk to them.
But he was never arrested or charged in connection to Natalie's murder. Instead, Schwartz began posting his suicidal tendencies on Facebook, leading to police finding him at St. John's Episcopal Church on Pine Street.
I'm scared because you keep punishing me!
He was taken to Boulder Community Health's Foothills Hospital, where he yelled at staff and police officers, who later arrested him for the disruption. However, despite an obvious suspect in Schwartz, police quickly found another person of interest. An inspection of Natalie's phone records and internet use found that she'd been talking to another man, and between them was a shocking connection, and they had almost a conversation of around 100 messages. Joseph Michael Lopez was an ordinary guy. He worked at Domino's. He also had a family. According to him, he had answered an advert in the Women Seeking Men section of Craigslist, which he said later turned out to be created by Natalie. Those who don't know about Craigslist, that it is a privately held American company operating a classified advertisements website with sections devoted to jobs, housing, for sale, items wanted, services, and discussion forums. According to the 23-year-old pizza delivery guy, he told that Natalie posted that, "I want to put a hit on myself." And Natalie was looking for someone to end her life for her because she didn't want it to live. However, this wasn't the only story he had told the police. After exchanging details, Joseph picked her up from her home in Broomfield after his shift at the pizza place, and the pair went to scout locations for where she could die. He said she had told him that she was having issues with her boyfriend, and it had all become too much. However, they couldn't decide on a place to perform the action, and he drove her back to her home. But Joseph's car's GPS placed him at the murder scene. The second story he gave police had a slightly different commentary. He told them the pair had gone location scouting, but once they'd arrived at a spot near a dairy farm, Natalie had shot herself in the head with a 9mm gun she had brought with her. He then left her and didn't reported the act to the police. The problem with this story was that given the bullet's trajectory into Natalie's skull, she could never have pulled the trigger. So, once again, Joseph changed his story. He told investigators that he'd messaged Natalie, hoping to convince her not to kill herself. Even after they'd gone to scout places to kill her, he was hoping she'd reconsider her decision, but she didn't. Then he said that he was agreed to kill her himself. He said the pair prayed together, and then he shot Natalie in the back of the head, shaking uncontrollably and without looking at his target. However, it was still a murder. The gun he used to shoot her was still in his car when he was arrested, and her purse was also in his car. Lopez was first charged with first-degree murder. However, the charge was dropped to second-degree when he agreed to plead guilty. Joseph Michael Lopez was sentenced to 48 years in prison rather than the life sentence he avoided by pleading guilty. If he serves the entire term, he will be released by the time he's 71. As for the Bollinger family, during the sentencing, they took the opportunity to criticize their daughter's killer in court publicly. The heartbroken and infuriated family's words were, "You took advantage of my daughter. She was vulnerable and drugged. You premeditated, brutally shot and killed my baby. I asked for an eye for an eye. You have been protected." The Bollinger family had no say in this. This is a deal with the devil. On the other hand, Shawn Schwartz still claims his innocence on Facebook. He said that, "In Virginia, we had a lot of fun. I held her hand once, but that was it. We had no sexual relationship. I was her friend. I went to Virginia because Natalie got into a car accident within 24 hours of telling me she wanted to kill herself. That's why I went there." If Schwartz's testimony in his videos is taken into account, Natalie wasn't a happy person and had threatened to take her life before. So, could it possibly be that Joseph was acting on her instructions, rightly or wrongly? You tell in the comments. Perhaps these questions don't have accurate answers. With Joseph placed at the scene, there's evidence that he was involved in her death, but it's still unclear how much of his story is accurate, and we are unlikely ever to hear a complete tale of what happened that evening. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe and join the channel. It will help me a lot in making videos and spreading awareness.